Hi there. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to Critical Reading Class KU 1024 with me again, Ibu Muksona. In this video, we will discuss about strategies you can use during reading. There are at least three purposes of whilst reading activities. They are to identify, to organize, and to understand key information of a selection. There are a number of strategies you can use during reading. Among others are highlighting, annotating, mapping, outlining, figuring out unfamiliar words, reading visuals, and SQ3R. To effectively highlight, first of all, read the paragraph or section first. Then, go back and highlight the important parts. Second, highlight key ideas of any topic sentence and any supporting details you want to remember. Third, be accurate. Make sure your highlighting reflects the ideas stated in the passage. Fourth, highlight the right amount. If you highlight too little, you may miss valuable information. However, if you highlight too much, instead of focusing on the most important ideas, you will reread too much material when you study. Remember, usually highlighting is around 20 to 30% of the material. And then, to effectively annotate a text, you can first of all underline or highlight key ideas. And then put marks like a star to mark key terms or definitions, brackets to indicate examples, an asterisk to mark useful statement, a question mark to indicate confusing statements, an exclamation point to argue or show disagreement, etc. You can also use numbering, number 1, 2, 3, 4, and also you can draw circles, arrows, etc. Anyways, this is only examples of annotating. You can develop your own strategies while you are reading. One of the strategies you can use to organize key ideas is mapping. An idea map is a visual picture of how the contents of a paragraph, essay, and textbook chapter are organized. For writing, an idea map can help you organize and check your own ideas to make sure all planned ideas are included. Here is the tips for mapping. In mapping ideas, what you need to do are basically identifying and connecting. You can first of all identify the overall topic or subject. Write it at the top of the page as exemplified on the left side, or write it in the center as exemplified on the right side. You can have a look at here. Then, identify major ideas that relate to the topic. Write or type the major ideas and connect each one to the central topic. Further, Identify the supporting details and connect them with the major ideas. Another form of mapping can be a timeline in which the events are presented in the chronological order from the earliest to the most current one. In addition, mapping can also be presented in a process. This includes the steps of procedure in doing something. Well, another strategy you can use during reading is outlining. The purpose of outlining is to track what you have read. There are a number of tips for outlining. First is, don't worry about the format of your outline. The most important thing is it shows organization of idea. Second, use either words, phrases, or complete sentences, whichever is easier for you. Third, use your own words and don't write too much. And fourth, pay attention to headings. Be sure that all the information you place underneath a heading explains or supports that heading. While you are reading, circle or highlight new words. To find the meaning, instead of looking them up in a dictionary, use the following strategies. First, pronounce the word. Often, by hearing the word, you will recall its meaning. Second, guess the meaning of the word from its context. In this case, is the words and sentences around the unfamiliar words. Third, guess the meaning of the word from its word form, from the root, from the prefix, or from the suffix. For example, the word untouchable consists of un means not, combined with touch means come into contact, and able means having what is needed. If you still cannot guess the meaning, mark it and keep reading. However, if without knowing the meaning of the words prevents you from making sense the sentence, then stop and look up the word in a dictionary. After finished reading, look up all the words you have marked and record it in a vocabulary note or computer that you can visit anytime you want to review and use. Another strategy is reading visuals like graphs, charts, and tables. To read visuals, first of all, read the title or caption and legend. The title indicates what situation or relationship is being described. The legend is the caption explaining the visual. It indicates what particular colors, lines, or pictures mean. The second one is determine how the visual is organized. For example, by looking at the column headings if it is a table, or looking at the vertical and horizontal axis if it is a graph. Third, determine what variables that may include quantities or categories the visual is illustrating. Identify the pieces of information being compared or the relationship being shown. And note any symbols and abbreviations used. The fourth is determine the scale or unit of measurement and note how the variables are measured. The fifth, identify any trends, patterns, or relationships shown in the visual. The sixth, read any footnotes and identify the source. Footnotes can be found at the bottom of a graph or a chart. Finally, make a summary note. You can jot down a short note, the key trend or pattern emphasized by the visual in the margin. A note you make will crystallize the idea in your mind, and your note will be useful when you review it. SQ3R stands for survey, question, read, recite, and review. The system will strengthen not only your comprehension and lengthen your memory about what you read, but also shorten time to prepare for an exam. If you still find it difficult to see the result immediately after taking your first practice, don't give up. As I mentioned earlier, that critical reading is not an overnight process. It may take a few more practice sessions to get used to the system. So be patient and try to be flexible in adapting the SQ3R method to suit your learning style and the type of material you are studying. A good example can be if writing helps you recall information, you might add an outline step and make the review step in the SQ3R system a review of outline step. Or, if you are studying a course in which terminology is especially important, such as biology, then add a vocabulary check step. The following are steps in the SQ3R system. S for survey. In this step, you need to become familiar with the overall content and organization of the material using the steps for previewing as we discussed in the previous segment. Q for question. In this step, you need to ask questions about the material that you expect to be able to answer as you read. As you read each successive heading, turn it into a question. The first R is for read. In this step, as you read each section, you need to search for the answers to your guide questions. When you find the answers, underline or mark the portions of the text that concisely state the information. The second R is recite. This step is probably the most important part of the system. Recite means that after each section or after each major heading, you should stop, look away from the page, and try to remember the answer to your question. If you cannot remember, look back at the page and reread the material. Then test yourself again by looking away from the page and reciting the answer to your question. The third R is review. Right after you finish reading, go back through the material again, reading headings and summaries. As you read each heading, recall your question and test yourself to see whether you can still remember the answer. If you cannot, reread that section. Once you are satisfied that you have understood and recalled key information, move toward the higher level thinking skills such as application, analysis, evaluation, and creation questions. Some students like to add a fourth R step for reflect. What is next? For the post-reading strategies, please visit the links in the description section or just click the card at the end of this video. Good luck! See you again in the next video. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.